Hi friends, Westo Enrico here. Westo de check-in de famoso de people eu place. Oh, who knows? Maybe you can only do that. It doesn't seem to be working. Oh, now it's working. Alright, so anyway. Hi friends, host Eric here, host Talking Finish People. Earlier I got a little frustrated because my mescaline didn't work. Made me unhappy. And so then I'm faced with, just sheer idiocy. I'm done. I'm done streaming right now because I just don't want to deal with these morons. The thing is, of course, I'm not sure if they're really that dumb or not. Or even how many people it is. I'm pretty sure of at least one and perhaps two people that comprise some of the various haters. But most of the people who showed up tonight were all one person, That guy is that dumb, to put it bluntly. But by and large, it's hard to say whether the haters are actually dumb or if they're playing dumb to push my buttons. I think it'd be pretty difficult to play that dumb for that long. But possible. Regardless, let's say they're just pushing my buttons and they're just really effective at making me annoyed. What in the world makes them hate me so much? Like, I get it that I'm the most correct person, and that elicits a lot of like, oh no, you're not. We got to be correct, so. Well, you do when you agree with me. But it's obvious to anybody who watches me that I'm a full range, authentic human being. I'll answer it right now. I think the vast majority of INFJs on the internet are not INFJs. So, you know, it's natural that they're going to sound like ISFPs, it's very reasonable for them to sometimes mistype as INFJs, especially depending on what they read and where they read it. They still have the same absolute values as INFJ. I'm sorry, they don't. They have the same. Well, they have the ends as an absolute value, but we've got the same absolute values as ISFPs too. No, they don't either. It's INFPs and ISTJs have the same absolute values. INFJs have the same absolute values as ISTPs. Yeah. INFJs have the same absolute values as ISTPs. Well, TE DOMs sometimes. I think mostly it's ENFJs or ESFPs who hate me and just cannot stop hating me. There's not a ton of people. The haters, even though they may come in 100 different names, it's probably just 2 or 3 people. But they hate me with a passion that never passes. They never get tired of coming in and hating on me, which is interesting. I type correctly instead of silent. I'd rather not get into a big explanation about it at the moment, though. So, make of it what you wish. My basic position on the matter, as I've said many times, and you know by now, so I don't know why you're even asking, is that nobody had gotten it right until finally, after a couple false starts of my own, I finally figured it out. But oh yeah, that was this really damaged guy who was advocating on behalf of Melissa Talks. Damaged, really damaged. Is my read on him. But definitely, almost for sure ESFP. The ones who get histrionically mad at me, or like have this weird, persistent mad thing. There's two. They come in two flavors. They come in narcissists, who I've wagged my finger at, or they come in the flavor of like damaged ESFP / ENFJ. There's usually damage associated with it as well. I'm pretty sure it's not just a type thing, It's like, no healthy person expresses that much spite, Well, it correctly does answer the question, which is, my position is that nobody had mapped cognitive functions correctly prior to my articulating the correct map, more or less. I've articulated it. I haven't articulated every detail of it, but we'll watch the eight pillars of defensible typology, and so the answer is neither. I don't type as using either approach. I type correctly. I type the best approach. So it's like a lot of people tried a lot of different flying machines, right? Before a couple people came up with an airplane. They tried flapping wings. They tried, bicycle propeller driven wing flapping bicycle. They tried wing suit. They tried lots of things before somebody got the correct way to get it up into the air, or the basic design down, right? So that's basically what I did, and I didn't come up with the idea of powered air flight. That would be Jung. He's the genius. This is what I've stressed before in this, as well as I'm not claiming to be any kind of cognitive function genius. If anything, it took me an awfully long time to figure it out, and Jung is definitely the genius there, with the intuitive notion that we can measure being in time and attention. And that was the core philosophical question that we've never asked. That Heidegger peeked out in being in time, but he never answered it, and the rest of human history has suffered accordingly, because it's the question that needed answering. And instead of answering it directly, what can we say about being in time? Well, being expresses as attention, and it's measured in time. Well, I mean, you can spell bidim, you can spell mibt. There are all kinds of things you can spell. Now, Heidegger was extrovert intuitor. I don't have a system, okay? Yes, I have typing protocols that I execute pretty much every time I type, but those things have revealed themselves to be the best typing approaches over time. I have hundreds of typing sessions under my belt. You know, you gotta do both ends of it. You can't just theorize. You gotta have the empirics to back it up. You gotta test your own hypotheses, and ideally do the whole thing as publicly as possible so that others can critique it too. That it's a process. You know, being right's a process. It's not a destination. It's an approach. Watch a video. Channel search my channels for 8 pillars. It's about a 4-minute long video, and watch that, and then you'll know which questions to ask at least. Well, no, it's not a system. Cognitive functions explain how humans be, and the reality that we aren't all deviations from a single mean, but rather individuations of 16 different configurations. It's a pretty important mistake we made a long time ago and have been hammering and hammering and hammering and hammering on and from ever since. This idea that we can understand human psychology as deviation from a single mean. You want to join the hate? Okay. Well, first of all, we're going to need to make you considerably stupider. Because the one thing that the haters all seem to have in common is they either are actually very stupid or very good at faking it. Like, that anonymous zero person at the end of the last stream was just so boneheadedly retarded that my fussiness, the mescaline not working, combined with just, I mean, sure, I could have just banned him or hit him or something, but well, MBTI is not really a system. I mean, neither of them are really systems. I don't know why we call it a system. There are multiple elements in understanding typology. One of the elements is understanding it as a map, right? A map of human existence and of why everything's all fucked up. And the other is the process of typing people. Yes, I'm the best typologist, but that doesn't matter. Somebody else might easily enough become better at understanding how to convert the map I'm presenting, which is the necessary preconditions to think correctly about being, which is in that eight pillars thing, right? And they might figure out better ways to type people from those same fundamental truths that are observed and established. So, no, I haven't slept. I got mad because the mescaline didn't work, so I took a bunch of speed. I drove up to National Forest looking for cactus. I didn't even get any cactus. I came back here. I've been brooding, basically. I've been brooding all night. Well, I mean, there is that, of course, here. There's plenty of predictives. And it's, well, it's not a system, though, Silent. See, at this point, you're attempting to provoke, right? I explained this already, and you're just intentionally trying to be provocative. Or triggery or something. I'm not in the mood for bullshit, so just knock it the fuck off. Look, the question of what is existence, what is being, has been a fundamental question of humanity since day one. And human beings do evolve, it's just not biologically, it's metaphysically. It's not surprising that eventually we straighten it out, you know? I mean, it's consistent with other realities that over time people understand things better. We're able to utilize what people before us have understood, and yeah. Do I think 8 functions is correct, is accurate? Yeah. I think there are 8 functions. Um, Keeping in mind that cognitive function is kind of an iffy word. You know, a cognitive function is just a way of paying attention, a way of either parsing, or of knowing, of acting or reacting. Because there are 2 ways of each, you end up with 8. And that's just what it is. You know, it's like the reason we can feel very confident that it's 8 is because nobody can present something that doesn't fit into one of those categories, and nobody can present something that functionally fits into more than one of those categories, except as some sort of composite of multiple moments, right? In other words, you might know then act, or you might deliberate and then ask a question, which is a form of deliberation. But you can't, there shouldn't be any confusion ever about whether or not you've known something or determined something. There should never be any, just, I mean, that's not, it's so observationally so for everybody, and nobody can present any alternative that works at all, let alone better, that you'd have to be willfully pushing away understanding to not accept that, you know? Just be glad they aren't lying floor at your house, Michelle. When we were on our deathbeds, we will all be thinking, damn, I wish I spent more time being spiteful online. Well, some of those haters are going to be on their deathbed. They're going to be like, I cannot believe I never got him. I spent all that time trying to get him, and I never got him. The reason they can't get me is because they're wrong on any substantive issues, and they're not as deft as I am in terms of, you know, back and forth. The best they can possibly do is annoy me enough that I say, fuck this, I'm tired of dealing with idiots, you know? I can ignore them by and large. You know, I feel pretty confident that I know who Space Between is, you know. He has some habits that he just can't quite shake that make me able to pick him out. But, you know, the advantage of his approach, namely a deceptive one, is that it's difficult to say for sure, you know. If you're always sniping from the shadows, you know, putting on a bunch of different fake accounts to back yourself up and stuff, you gotta wonder, what the hell are they thinking? Like, what are they getting out of that? It's like it's weird to call it a system because it's like I observed that by and large people are either men or women. Nobody says I have a system. They don't even say I have taxonomy. They just go, yeah. Um, and the gender distinct from sex, and some people are hermaphrodites, but uh, it doesn't. It's arguing from the margins, right? So we can correctly say that, as a general rule, people are born either male or female. There are occasional exceptions, but it doesn't falsify the general claim, right? Um, and that you can also correctly claim that people can identify as a different gender than their sex, and how much that is important or matters or is valid. People have a lot of dispute about it, a lot of like strong feelings about it for some reason. How do you think typing animals with the functions? Um, well, I mean, obviously it's typing animals is somewhat for entertainment purposes only. And yet, it's also the case that um, that it's very obvious that some animals have very different personalities. Trouble is not an introverted at all. He is the most extroverted cat you will ever meet. Like I said earlier, he walked all the way around the block with us the other day. Cats just don't do that. He acts so much like a dog. It's crazy. And yeah, Capillo, she's very introverted feeling, introverted sensing. Trouble rarely cleans himself, or just cleans himself a little bit. Capillo's constantly cleaning herself. I mean, there's no other way to meaningfully talk about the distinction without using the same kind of language you use to talk about human distinctions, namely, Capillo's paying a lot of attention to her physical comfort, self-care stuff in a way that's consistent with SI stuff. She knows via her experience, and you can see that play out time and time again as she adjusts to changes and stuff. Whereas Trouble is definitely a huge talker. The thing is, you know, the thing about the ESFP-FI that I encountered earlier from Space Between was not earlier tonight, but last night I guess it was. Was that he keeps occasionally he'll slip and say something that makes it really clear he's got FI tool. Like, what do you want? Do you just want me to praise you? If you're worrying about what I want, you're doing it wrong. What I want is to have actual conversations with actual people about actual ideas. But and I'm not sure to what extent it's that they can't do actual ideation, or they don't want to. But what you'll notice about people like Cloud or whomever else um, is that there's an inability to follow a given idea beyond piao piao. There's no there's no idea. There's no idea behind it that says we're going to do intellectual work and reach a conclusion of some sort. It's purely done to. It's well. This is what I don't know. I don't know if it's they think that they're ideating in a way that's actually engaging because they're saying something about a topic that we're talking about, and therefore, and the only way they know if they're engaging is they prompt a response. So they're just trying to get me to react in some way, or if it's motivated more purely by hate, and it's well, that's what I'm saying. Self-help lounge. I don't know. I'm not sure which it is. It's a bit of a chicken and egg question. Like, are you engaging like that because you hate me, or do you hate me because you can only engage like that? But it's not the case for all ESFPs. There's plenty of ESFPs that I like a lot, you know. That's why I said earlier as well. I think it probably has to go with some damage, some childhood abuse or something like that. Like what Dulles did to his poor baby Tom, keeping him locked in the basement. He's just trying to breastfeed a newborn baby. But Dulles interprets it as Tom having an eye for the ladies and locks him in the basement. Like, Tom's going to come out, going to grow up, and going to end up talking shit around here. Oh. He's in his 50s, so. That's still a baby. That's still a baby, Dulles. Toddlerhood begins at 60. I mean, if animals are all under constant threat, then aren't people also all under constant threat? Like, my cats are extremely well cared for. They're under less threat than anybody else I know, really. They don't have to worry about where their paycheck's coming from, where their food's coming from. Well, nobody physically, by and large, most people can expect to go through life without suffering a lot of physical assault. That's true. But humans are a lot more complicated as well. We can feel attacked without any physical assault at all going on. And that still counts as attack, you know. Hi, Rachel, darling. Meanwhile, there are lots of animals that actually don't have any natural predators. But they are under attack by things like parasites and, weather, I guess. I mean, the thing is, human beings we have language. So, yeah, we should, you know what, Michelle Way, we should start a charity called Diatomaceous Earth, the Wild Animals, where we collect money to buy diatomaceous earth to go out into the wilderness and be like, get over here, you deer! No, don't run away. I'm trying to rub diatomaceous earth on you. That'd be a good charity. Michelle, you and I can put that charity together, okay? I'll start making some calls. You start our IPO. It's a charity, but it's a for-profit charity. It's a for-profit charity. You know, has anybody tried that before? Just come right out and say, we are a for-profit charity. You give to me so that I can profit. Calling a random ISFP, they're calling Hitler ESFJ. Who's a random? Napoleon Dynamite would be a great spokesperson for that charity. Well, I did say one time at the press tour, and I remember having said it primarily because I got a very good response from the guy. Like, he actually said to me, I have never heard anybody say that before. Which is the best thing you can say to me, really. Will you stop with your stray? Maybe I will, maybe we'll see. Okay? But, he's like compelled to ask me, would you like to donate? Would you like to donate to St. Jude's Hospital? There are several options on the screen. I said, where's the option where they donate to me? Because I fucking hate things like that. No, fuck off, you and your charity asking. It's like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you to know that what you're doing is actually going to do good. I don't trust you to know that to actually spend the money wisely. I don't trust you to be motivated primarily by charitable intentions. I don't trust you even if you are motivated primarily by charitable intentions to actually be primarily charitable. You may just have an extremely high tolerance for cognitive dissonance. It's like there's zero reason why I should give you money if you think you're going to do good with it. If you're like, I'm broke, can you give me some money? Well, that makes sense. Okay, here's some money. But give me some money because I'm going to do good with it in the world. Better than me spending it on myself? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you're not. You're not going to better spend my money than me on myself. It's like, do you go to these poor people that you're helping and ask them for money too? Or are they exempt from being asked for money? Like, charity is bad and dumb. Everybody should read the, I used to be more of a giver as well. But the thing is, I don't mind that much giving something to an actual human being right in front of me who needs it, right? That's different. It's like one Christmas time, or around Christmas time, Delilah and I saw this young lady who was sitting outside the Denny's, and she was very underdressed. And she turns out, because my daughter was with me and she was like 16 or something, I felt it was safe to give her some coats without her thinking that I'm some creepy old man, And so we gave her a couple of coats, or a coat and a blanket or something like that. She was waiting for somebody to get let out of the Temple City Sheriff's Station, turned out. So that was good charity, made me feel good. I wasn't trying. I wasn't throwing money in a pit at something, some problem that's not going to fix, right? Like some homeless person panhandling is not going to be fixed by me giving them money. I give them cigarettes. I should start my own charity. For every $1 you give to Host Eric, 100% of that dollar goes directly to Host Eric, except for the part that YouTube takes away. I've only ever had one person, one panhandler ever in the history of all time, turn down a cigarette. One time a lady said to me, "Oh, no thanks, I don't smoke." I was fucking shocked. That was not a cool joke. But I just let it go, you know. Because I do care about their experience, and I get it. We don't have any cigarettes, it sucks ass. I get that. Yeah, I relate to that. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I usually give them 2. But I won't give them money because I don't want them around my neighborhood. The thing is, also, there still exists among cigarette smokers, although less so than it used to, the capacity to bum cigarettes off of each other. Heck, if I smoke off you, I just ran out and I'm dying for a smoke. You know, well, I guess if you just ran out, then you're not dying for a smoke. But you know what I'm saying. Feed an arm. Here at Feed an Arm, we understand that in a modern world, people of need are complex people with multiple needs. Sure, they're hungry, but can they kill? We solve both. Here, have a sandwich. Here's an AK-47. Go, be fruitful. If you want to talk about a not funny joke about getting rid of homeless people, we could try to convert them all to Islam and then send them off to the Middle East. Hey, which one do you want to be, Shiite or Sunni? Shiite? Oh, those fucking... Oh, you want to be Sunni? Oh, I mean, those Shiites are terrible. You got to, get them all worked up and lathered up about it. You know, the thing is, they go from being marginalized bottom society here to being the most badass Muslim on the block over there. We'd send them over all decked out in American arms. You know, if there's one thing America should be able to do better than the Muslim world, it's arm our people. We'll send them with cigarettes too. After all, they've got a holy war to fight. The nice thing about giving things like cigarettes as a bonus to people fighting in holy wars is they're not going to take advantage of this perk for very long. I'll trade you these cigarettes, more of these shitty cigarettes for fewer of those good cigarettes. They did that in World War II. Depends on, I guess, whether you like to smoke more or smoke better. That'd be a tough one for me. If I had to choose between 3/4 of a pack of Marlboro Reds a day, which would be about a quarter pack less than I currently smoke. Depends on the day, but it'd be a little bit less than I currently smoke. or on, however many I feel like of another brand. That'd be a tough call. Because some days I do smoke considerably more, but if I knew I only had 3/4 of a pack, which would be like 15, that would be the worst self-help lounge. If you arm them, you get them all riled up on one side of the Islam brigade. Maybe make them Alawite, just to really mix things up. Maybe make them Kurds. Maybe make them Way. Regardless, that would suck. You send them over there, and all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, you know what? We're really getting along. Sunni brother, Shiite brother, come here. Yeah, let's shoot our guys in the air. Ah!" DTA, DTA. I don't even need to say it, do I? You know exactly what it stands for if it's being shouted in a Muslim nation. You know what DTA stands for if it's being shouted somewhere in the Middle East. I don't even have to say it out loud. Everybody wants to shit in the hands of a civil society. Everybody wants to shit on the face of the most reasonable among us. Yes, America did some fucked up shit. But look, if we hadn't done that fucked up shit, your country would still be BFing making goat cheese or whatever, Or they'd be all learning German now or whatever. So, enough. Knock it off. That's the only way you can legitimize drug use? Is that your standard for everything? Do you only eat bread that the CIA has eaten on missions? Because I gotta warn you, they eat wheat bread. Not in my house. No, sir. No, ma'am. No hermaphrodite. I am not taking any wheat bread. You are not serving me. You are not serving this man wheat bread. Okay? I don't eat it. I don't like it. It's got grains and shit in it. I don't want it. Remove all the wheat. Replace it with white. Oh, just drugs. So why do you arbitrarily choose the CIA as your legitimization metric or strategy? I guess if it maybe is correct. Why do you use it as your legitimization strategy just for this one thing? That should be a company's name. Just drugs. Doing drugs to party. And not for magical hoo-ha. That's my drug company's name. Ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, look at me entertain. I am so entertaining. I am like a minstrel show mixed with a Charlie Chaplin movie, mixed with a gladiator fight, mixed with Christians being fed to the lions. It's a splash dash shock of entertainment value every second. You're like a specimen in a tube. You're like a specimen in a tube. Maybe that, huh? If the CIA can orchestrate the killing of the 35 BI, at 9/11 above, and they'll surely have some solid wisdom on drugs. Some of their experiments didn't turn out like they hoped to at all. For example, mind control made them less controllable. Ha ha ha. Yeah, well, we've been doing drugs for a long time, Michelle. You know, back in World War II, the Nazis and the Finns, let's not forget the Finns were briefly allied with the Nazis to fight against the Russians. They were doing speed. It makes sense to do speed when you're going to war, right? I send all these people to war, might as well give them a bunch of meth. Much meth them out, you know. Go fight. You got your operational speed pipe in your left breast pocket. Check. It has a full bowl currently packed and melted, plus a bag to the side pocket, separate from the bowl so it will not melt. Check. You've got your bull rubbing rag in your right front pocket. Check. Pretend speed pipes and smoke meth. Don't burn it, soldier. Do not burn it. And then they say, okay, is everybody fully fucking thwacked out? Yes, sir. And then they say, okay, let's get some guns out here. We're gonna shoot some shit. Now, you're gonna practice shooting that target until you fucking can hit it right in the middle every time. And then like 16 hours later, you're like, oh my God, I can't, I gotta rest now, I think. I have to pee or eat and rest or, and it's like 20 hours and they're still shooting. Oh my God, I'm still shooting. Well, they get really good, understandably. That's how do you think I got so good at the guitar? That's how. Practicing guitar on meth. Not practicing, playing it. And then, how do they have incense? That's Navy. You're mixing your branches of the military together, like mashed potatoes and peas. It's fine with mashed potatoes and peas. It's not fine with what you're doing. Making Navy names for Army people. This is the Army we're talking about. You don't need to give Navy people meth. They just float around on a boat all day. He's Butters. You're not going to like this, Michelle. This is a Catholic church. Can you see it? But no, I'm going the wrong direction. Over here. There's a Catholic church. Holy Angels, it says on the back. Here, I'll show it to you. Michelle doesn't like Catholics. She's like that Emo Phillips joke. Have you guys heard that Emo Phillips joke? What did I say about what? What do you want, Trouble? Do you need more food? Okay, well, what? What are you telling me? You guys want to show me or what? I'll put more food on your plate. You want more water? Give me some more water, too. Pretty low. You're getting pretty low on fluids, bro. Pretty low on fluids. There you go. Maybe you trying to show me something. God damn it. Sometimes I'm not sure what this cat's trying to tell me. He's very lassie-ish, though. Uh, the I'm a Catholic. I'm a Christian. I'm a regular Christian. Like Catholics, though, I transubstantiate things. You know, the Catholics, Michelle, what you're forgetting is that Catholics have the power to turn a wafer into the actual body of Christ before they feed it to you, forcing his chewy, chewy human flesh into your body. And Jesus was so blessed that his blood was pure wine. One final bit of advice. The next time a senior administrator of the CIA tells you she has a national security crisis, leave the bullshit in Cambridge. So worldly. Damn those worldly Catholics. Caring about worldly things. They're not supposed to be so worldly. They're supposed to be not worldly. They're supposed to be poor and pray. I mean, there's plenty of rich Christians. Nothing wrong with being rich. Now, I agree the Catholic Church is incredibly, shockingly, mind-bogglingly antiquated. Like, so much so that it's more curiosity about history in my mind and the way people's understandings developed. You know, basically away from interface. But I find it beautifully absurd in its rituals, its miggity meows, its the whole swing the thing and the smoke comes out of it. This is magic smoke. Everybody get some magic smoke on you. No. That's not regular water. This is magic water. Yeah, I made it magic because I'm a priest and I have that power. What? What, kitty? What do you want? You want me to go follow you outside? Do you have something to show me? I've got some magic smoke, I've got some magic water, and a whole lot of rosary beads. Catholic is religion for me. Yeah. But seriously though, Michelle, if you're gonna be hating, shouldn't you be directing your hatred towards the infidels instead of some wrong, not quite right Christians? It's like, they're still Christians. Morale! I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. So you already have come in. See, these birds really don't like trouble. And they are chirping at him. I don't know. You have caused so many problems. Last night I saw the mama possum with one baby possum get onto her back. Did trouble kill the bunch of other possums already? Maybe. He's a killer. He killed a big possum one time. Okay, then. Condemn wantonly. You don't hate them. You just condemn them wantonly. Very different. I mean, this cat has got so much power already. He's very assertive, very talkative, as you can hear. Ah, what was happening in that dumbass story? I mean, the thing is, what I what I took away from my second talking about the first time I read it with Chilo, I didn't know what to say about it. I was just like, I don't know. I need to sit with this. I can't. I don't have an answer. I don't want to talk about it right now. I I've never. I don't remember. We ended up just reading another story and then we talked about that one instead because I wasn't ready to talk about it. It was so it caught me so off guard and kicked my ass so much because I'm picking a random story by an author I know I like that I've not read before as my approach towards what are we going to read today. I knew I wanted to read something by Sherwood Anderson, and I just picked the first one that I saw that I had not read before. If it had been super long, I would have picked it as something else, but it turned out to be that. It was just like, what the fuck is this? Well, what I think about it is, it's a much more sophisticated version of the tiger or the prince. In that story that a lot of people read in high school, it gets you all caught up into what they're going to choose, the prince or the lion, and what a conflicted conflict it is. And then at the end it says, what do you think happened? And it doesn't tell you anything. And that story is a much more is a work. Whereas that story I'm referring to with the lion and the princess, that's pretty weak sauce, really. Hello, Trouble. I hear you meowing. But the dumb man is absolutely brilliant. Because the thing is, it's not clear what happened upstairs with the man and the woman. But some takeaways are this. The woman is eager for love. And although she comes before in the telling than the dispassionate man, one gets the feeling that she's not paying attention to the dispassionate man's dispassion. The thing is at first evocative of I mean, it makes me think like she's being whored out to somebody, right? At first. But then he says, he may have been death. The evil one runs back and forth, evil-eyed one runs back and forth, really upset. He's wicked-eyed, but is he actually wicked? And then the cavalier guy, who's laughing throughout the whole thing, is described as mostly like jovial, gadfly-ish kind of person, I guess. But depending on how we interpret what happens with the woman and the man upstairs, whether or not his laughter is either wicked or neutral. But less so with the other guy, whose behavior seems sympathetic, worried, fretful, unhappy about what's going down. And I guess it's just an exercise in an NI counterpoint or something. It's a beautiful, brilliant, just mind-boggling. Okay, Mr. Man. I do. I love you very much. You don't want me to talk to the people. You want me to talk to you, huh? And give you the pets. The loving pets of touching wonder. With your feeling soft fur. And your fur flying all around now. 'Cause you never clean yourself up good. Kai, have you ever tasted an INFP? I mean, really gotten down there and tasted one. Have you, Kai? It tastes like a cross between papaya and gravy. It's a subtle flavor. It's an acquired taste. Meow. Those are big meows for a big cat. Yes, you are very big. Very big and manly. You're the manliest cat I've ever seen. You're the boldest, manliest, just badassest, just ENFJ-ishest cat ever. He's a plump and meaty brand meat plumper. I didn't plump your meat now, but I plump your meat in with the meaty plumpers. Yes, one last thing, Bellhop. Before you go, can you plump my meat? I'm expecting to have meaty plumpers later on, and nobody's done the plumping process yet. What are you talking about? I need you to take this meat syringe and inject air into my hot dogs. I gotta convince Tiffany that I did in fact successfully find these non-existent hot dogs she insists on me buying. Plump and meaty brand meat plumpers. Sally Haye says, "Hey Eric, what do you think are the best romantic relations for an INFJ?" ENTP. That's what I think. But you could also say ESTP possibly if you want to go with socionics. Socionics will tell you ESTP. I'll tell you ENTP. Now, obviously, you might point out there's a little bit of a personal bias, conflict of interest thing going on here. I am dating an INFJ, so you might figure I'm kind of obligated to say that, you know. It's not untrue that I'd have to say it regardless, right? But it is the case, and I think it too. Rachel and I get along really well. We've got the longer I'm with her, the more I'm understanding life through an NI frame. What it is. Meow. Meow. How are you? Good morning. Would you like morning pets? Oh, morning pets for kitty. With the rising of the sun. And my hand stroking you with my love. There. Or can you stop meowing at me, please? I wouldn't worry about an Enneagram. An Enneagram mostly just confuses people and justifies assorted bullshit. The only thing I really use about an Enneagram is the 891 distinction. Everybody's got either an 8 approach to Piao Piao as a default, a 9 approach to Piao Piao as a default, or a 1 approach to Piao Piao as a default. Well, I don't know what to say to that, Tribble. Oh, morale. Mm. Should I translate what you're saying? Okay. I think he's just imitating me. I think this is what an FE Dom cat looks like, right? He hears me talking, and so he just starts talking. Isn't that right, Trouble? No, not this time. Now he's licking himself. But he doesn't lick much. He licks like a 20th the amount that Capio does. Yeah, a 20th. That's right. You think it's less than that even? You're licking right now. Oh, that wasn't even real licks. They're just like show licks. Show licks. I know. Would you like pets? Okay. There are pets for you. You're a wonderful friend and a happy good kitty and a dun 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 dun. But you're also a killer and a beast. Well, you're a tomcat. Oh, wow. What a weird cat. That's the weirdest cat in the history of the meows. I'm not just on drugs, I'm in them. I am bathing in a sea of drugs. Meow. That's what everybody says, but can you believe it? What do I think about the probably inevitable gap in trait openness between I and F little p and their dual grounds for a relationship not working out? Well, I don't think it's a gap in trait openness. I mean, I wouldn't describe it as such. I'm not sure what that means really, but I would say it stems from the fact that you want to have the same absolute values as your 1 and 5. So with judgers like I don't know, ESFJ and INTP, they don't have the same absolute value in terms of 1 and 5, but they have both of each other's dominant function as a conscious function. So they lose the absolute value, right? But they gain sharing conscious functions. So when I was with an ISFJ, it was very easy for she and I to communicate about a lot of things because we both knew the same way and we both ideated the same way. Just one of us put it foremost in our attentional configuration and the other put it last, right? I read that as trait openness rather than the trait openness. So that's why I was confused. Sorry. I know about the trait openness, obviously. I thought it was a term, trait openness. But I misread it. I mean, actually, I didn't misread it, but that's fine. You left out of the... I probably should have intuited. Well, that's NI ignoring, you know? NI ignoring. Assistive cat. Assistive cat. Doing assistive things. Maybe something along the lines of doing assistive things. Being really assistive. Assisting everyone everywhere. And now it's time for you to assist them over there. Meow. Meow. What are those birds fretting about? Did you kill their baby or something? You're such a killer. Or at least he's... Don't... Meow. At least... If I don't see it, though, I don't know for sure, then I prefer that. If something happened, I don't know what it is. I don't want to see the tragic remains of his slaughter. It's like, I don't want to play, I don't want to play animal moralist, trying to make the animals be moral to each other. That sounds like difficult and also I don't know. Shit. I do impose. Oh, he's an assertive cat. I see. That makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? I didn't even really think about the fact that his sister didn't make any sense. That's another kind of anti-ignoring. What's the difference between anti-ignoring and anti-seventh? Well, anti-ignoring's a structural rejection that happened. It's like, it's not a rejection. It's a structural. Your building's turned to the other direction, so you never can quite look at it. Somebody with better, more active NI than me would have read that and intuited that it was assertive, not assistive, right? But I wasn't really putting two and two together. I tend to read things as they're written and assume that people mean what they say, what they mean. Of course, I do get that we all have autocorrect sometimes fucking punch us in the face when we don't want it to. It's super, 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 super annoying. There's no debating that. I've had it happen plenty of times to me. It's super annoying. I mean, the thing is, it's like, okay. I mean, they do have some NI. It's just, it's... I don't know. I don't feel like talking about that. It makes me think about my dad, and it makes me feel sad and or glad, mad, or bad. I mean, I think they do. I believe that animals have types, and I also acknowledge that there's a lot of intuition there rather than it's not as nearly remotely as establishable as it is with human beings, because the primary mechanism of establishing it is language. But Capio never talks like that. That cat's nuts. That cat was a stray too, and I don't think it really was around people before. Where were I born? Here in LA. LA born and raised. What is this goddamn game? What's it called? Stray? Alright, let me look into it. You scoundrels, you dirty scoundrels, are scoundrelizing me. Every minute of every day. I'm being constantly scoundrelized. Straight. Maybe you get it on Steam. I have to reinstall that then. How much does it cost? Are you trying to break the bank here, Boba Fett, with your spindy ways? $29.99? Hell no. I'm not gonna pay $30 for that game. I don't like games enough to pay $30 for one. Well, what, kitty? You have to have my attention all the time? You're not a bad reminder. I just feel sad about my dad sometimes. When I think about anti-polar, I tend to think about, well, what came to mind was how much of a challenge he's having coming to understand his relationship with end of life stuff. His NI, when it's right, it's like pretty depressing. Morale. I know. I heard you, yeah. I know all about it. Your milkshake brings us all to the yard. I don't blame you for telling us so. You were wise to do so, in fact. I commend you for your wisdom. Would you like to see yourself instead of me, Trouble? Maybe you would. Let's find out. Here. Now, look up on the screen. It's you. It's you over there, see? No, not where, don't look at my finger. Look where I'm pointing. Yeah, see, there you are on the screen. It's you. Say meow. Meow. Pow. 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 That's supposedly friendly meow. Who's that cat? Who's that cat on the TV, Trouble? It's you. Yeah, you seem to have gotten the fact that it's you, huh? Oh, yes. Yes, you have. Say to people, you see, this is my hand on you. You're not putting two and two together. This is a lack of NI. But I think this cat is do your cast over? What is my cast? What does that mean? His favorite band, Dave Meowthews? I don't think so. I think his favorite band is Steely Meows. Can you hear me, Mr. Meow? Are you really just a shadow of the meow that I once meowed? Are you crazy? Are you high? Or just an ordinary guy? Have you done all you can do? Can you hear me, doctor? I mean, I don't know what's going on in his head. He he's long confused me. I'm his benefactor. He's my beneficiary. So he benefits from hanging out with me. Meow. What a meowsing pants. He's like, what are you doing exactly, Eric? I want to in on this, but I don't really know the rules of conversation. You haven't quite mastered the human tongue, but I'm sure you'll get it down eventually. You seem to have all of the different cat meows you could possibly want. You've got ha cha cha meow and ho cho cho meow. You got all the hot meows for 2022. Nothing but the hottest meows. All day, every day, commercial free meows. Very interesting radio station. You couldn't say commercial free forever, but if all they did between commercials was play different meows from different cats without any commentary or anything, just meow, meow. Yes, meow. I wonder if people would listen to it. They probably would. If people watch cat videos, why wouldn't they listen to cat radio? It seems plausible to me. Mm-hmm. I know. I agree with you. You say that you're glad Pelosi went to China? Me too. Trevor and I are broadly in agreement on Taiwan, as you can hear with recent commentary there. What else do you have to tell us, Trevor? What else do you have to say, Mr. Man? Mr. Man Kitty. Man Kitty Kitty Man. From Angelo. Yeah, well, they are indeed annoying in the fourth and defensive in the eighth. You wanted to say defensive as well, huh? Okay. Now, the trouble was meowing at you that he would prefer a different term. He doesn't want to wait for his life to be over before he meows and meows and meows and meows and meows and meows and meows. Right? Isn't that right, kitty? I stayed up all night long. All night long. Some suggestive T.I. and Cat went happy when you verbalized concluded. Wow. Mm-hmm. You mean like that? What would you like to talk about next? Would you like to discuss your food? Do you like the large brown balls of the Maine Coon food? Or do you prefer the smaller multicolored specks of the Purina cat chow? No, I never did. I ended up taking Adderall, driving around on kind of a cactus hunt, but not actually ended up getting any cactus. I went up to the national forest. I ended up just instead of getting around the neighborhood here, I got on the freeway. I drove out to what's it called? Sunlands, kind of like Sunlands, near there. There's something damn. Every time I've gotten off there before, it's past where I used to get weed in that other place. What's that place called? I don't know. I'm tired, I guess. Anyway, it's like 3 cities past locking you up on the 210. And it's over the hill. And then you go up towards this dam and there's National Forest. And so I was going to go up there and figure maybe I could find a big one of these cactuses or something and get like a big old one. But in fact, I got up there and there wasn't any cactuses up there. Or the kind I was looking for. The only one there was that I found was right in front of the ranger station. Right at the entrance. So I couldn't take that one very well. And I ended up pulling over, pull out and just sort of brooding for a while. It was kind of nice being just out in the mountains with nobody around really, just an occasional car driving by. Middle of the night, smoking cigarettes, It was kind of teenage angsty in a fully adult, mature way, though. I'm so mature now. I've matured a lot in recent years. You should see me now. I'm so mature. Oh, I'm sorry. You still on the camera? Oh, you're done? Okay. Cool. Thanks for letting me know. I appreciate the fact that you don't just bail. You don't just ghost. You say bye. No, I didn't get mushrooms, but hopefully I'll get them today. That'd be nice. There's got to be some better way to get the mescaline out of that stuff. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm trying to get any white stuff. Just get all the darkest green parts, and that's it. No, I haven't seen Californication. I don't like the name of it. It's too... Nah. Yeah. Actually, it's a kind of a spooky walk. There's this kind of area down off the side of the road, basically, where I just pulled over in a turnout area. And unlike most of it, instead of just having hills on both, like mountain thing on both sides, well, mountain on one side and fall off on the other side, it had this thing over there you could walk down. And there were people that dumped there, of course, because it's LA, so fuckers, somebody had thrown a bunch of bags of trash there. And there's graffiti around there, so it's pretty close to LA still. It's not very deep into the mountains, so it's got a lot of urban wear on it. But after flashlighting real well the whole area and making sure nobody was there, I walked around down there and got spooked out by the sounds of things because I was afraid there might be people around. I'm not worried about ghosts or whatever. I'm worried about shady ass people camping there. I mean, another show that's about an EHP is Better Call Saul, and we are trying to watch that. I'm finding it actually kind of difficult to watch. I live it myself. I don't know if I like to watch it. It hits too close to home or something. makes me feel uncomfortable. And most DUIs with golf carts, Palm Springs. No, that was just when Frank Sinatra lived there, and he was responsible for almost all of them. Well, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of different solutions. Rain, you can. I know. Look, I don't do the best job of testing TI, okay? I get it. People don't like to have their TI tested. That's the truth of it. And I don't like to push that hard on clients to test their TI. Yes, it would be possible to do it in ways that are more or less entirely ungameable if I were to generate enough different kinds of questions, have them prepped out, make sure that I ask for explanations as to why it's that way, which can be very revelatory as well. Um, I could and should do that. I could and should, but maybe I will more than I do now. I should probably prep some, you know. CI fourth in an ESFJ plays out as well. I'm pretty sure a girl at the Waffle House, the story I've told before, she was TI fourth. She didn't get why what she was doing was wrong. She's supposed to add 10% to my bill. She kept adding 110% to my bill. And I was trying to explain it to her, but she had instructions written down for her by somebody else that she kept trying to do again and again. I kept getting the same answer. And I was not being mean or impatient or anything, but one thing that annoyed me was like I like looked at the other people in the store and they looked at me and they're like, we're not getting involved in this. That was frustrating. It's like I would have gotten involved. I would have popped right up and been like, let me help you with this. And she wouldn't have listened to me either. She didn't trust me, even though I obviously wasn't trying to scam or anything. She didn't think I was, but she didn't want to trust my TI, you know? She knew that she needed to. Well, somebody had written her a set of instructions. She may have been new, but based on how she was interpreting the instructions she was read, which I didn't see myself, but apparently the way she was interpreting it, when she followed the steps, it ended up being twice my bill plus 10%. So, and she kept calling and calling her manager, even though it was the middle of the night, to try to get her manager to tell her what the correct answer was. And finally, her manager called back and told her that what I was saying was correct, you know. And then she burst into tears. Or not burst into tears. She was crying when she came over to me. I'm sorry. It is totally okay, lady. I did not. I was being super chill too. I wasn't being a dick at all because she was obviously, flustered. like I said, I didn't see what her instructions were, so I don't know what she was how she was getting the answer she was getting. She had her instructions over there at the register, and um, was not interested in showing them to me. Not that I have to see them, but no, well, it wasn't even a tip actually. It was a tip, but it was a surcharge they applied to go orders because people don't tip for to go orders. So in other words, it was an automatic add-on for to go. I think what ultimately happened there is she trusted her 1/8 more than she trusted her 4 and or certainly her NI. I mean, there was a lack of NI there as well. But the thing is, she knew that she was going to have to deal with her manager and wanted to make sure she didn't have a mistake since she was just starting, probably, you know. So she's thinking FE, but not about me in the moment, but she's also thinking about me in the moment. So this is why it's causing her to get increasingly flustered. She's got the FE that needs to be given predominance, her manager, which she's going to understand that. And I pull her or not, she's going to get that part right. That she doesn't want to make a big mistake on her first day. And I'm just one customer in the whole day. She's going to still get that much NI. um, and then she's got TE right in front of her. I just need to follow this set of instructions that I was given on how to do this. So, I know I can't go wrong if I follow a set of instructions because my manager left it for me. So, I can't FE fuck up with my manager by following her set of instructions. The problem here is then there's the other FE consideration that the correct answer is like, $5 or $6 less than the incorrect answer that she's giving me. So if it had been the other way around, I wonder how it would have gone down if I said, no, actually, I owe you more. I owe you another $2.15. I wonder how it would have gone that way. You know? What would be the easiest types to spot? Well, I find ISFPs easy to type. Generally, I can tell they're ISFPs right away, and I'm rarely wrong. So, as far as who's easiest for me to type, ISFPs are easy. Oh, morale! ENTJs tend to be pretty easy. I don't type a lot of them, but when I do, they're pretty straightforward usually. They got the SI polar plus they almost all are, when you ask them what they do in their free time for fun, it's like, I invest, manage my portfolio. I look for, advantages in the market, emerging market information that's going to give me an advantage. Shit like that. Or I'm training for a marathon. They're all, ENTJs are all like, well, why would you let perfectly, potentially monetizable time in some regard? And I was like, whether it's for your own improvement in this area or whether you're going to make money or whatever, why would you take perfectly exploitable time and not exploit it purposefully? Well, because everybody wants to exploit their own way, okay? Just let us exploit what we want to exploit. I want to exploit the opportunity to pull this bong rip. I'm going to exploit the living F out of it. Do I experience any difference in speed for yourself when answering from later in Rentsville, or your syllogisms are there the same length? Not really. I mean, I taught those things for years in classes, so it's hard for me to know or remember what I would, how I dealt with them when I first encountered them. It was such a long time ago that I first encountered them. What strain am I smoking? I am smoking L.A. Rouge. L.A. Rouge. That means L.A. red in French. Rouge is blush. You smear on your cheek. It makes you look like you have red cheeks. Red cheeks make you look healthy and full of life and capillaries in your cheeks. This is good weed. It was 50% off. It was still $30. So that's pretty good weed. I mean, I agree that it's not necessarily common for an ENTJ to raise their voice, but I don't think ESTJs raise their voice to me either in typing sessions. I typed a very lovely ESTJ just the other day, a lovely gentleman from England. I enjoyed talking with him a lot. He thought he was an INTP coming in, but he was definitely ESTJ. And he was cool. Yeah, I liked him. It was a fun session. Sure. Salahaya. No problem. My pleasure. Yeah, I might try to do that. Freeze overnight and then blend into a slushy. I wonder how much you need to eat. I wonder if you could put, I don't think there is any improving TI. That's ridiculous. You might get better at certain kind of test questions, but that is not TI. It's like, TI is a way of paying attention in your life. It affects everything you do. It's not just something you use in answering fucking logic questions. It's a frame of reference that checks the statements of other people for legitimacy. And if it's in the one or two anyway, if it's in the so-called ego block, yeah, I mean, the thing is, SI is a learning function. It is possible for us to learn things, and what we learn is, to a certain extent, part of our particularist stuff, although it may be something that's more or less commonly learned. No, Max Daddy. She will not over-exaggerate them. You can't say that. You can only just say exaggerate. Well, Eric, then you can't only just say that. You can only just say one of those. Stop only justing. Is that correct that Inky Pinky's test for NE? Is there a certain way people answer that may indicate NI? I mean, answering them is one half of the question, and making them up is the other half of the question. So, I think answering them it's definitely NI, but for me, I get there via conscious NE first. I try out different things until something suggests and or hits with NI, in my head. In that regard, if you're trying out possible things that might be an answer for an Inky Pinky, you are putting it in front of your attention to know with your intuition whether it is the answer or not. Materia prima. Well, see, the thing is, what I'd like to do is I'd like to know somehow which cactus plant has a higher concentration of mescaline. I'd like to pick from that cactus plant. Because supposedly there's some variation in how much mescaline it has in it based on which strain of San Pedro it is, basically. What do you think about specific combinations of people in an interaction? INFJ, ISFJ, ISTP, ISTJ, you mean? Well, I mean, INFJ with ISFP and ISTJ. Okay. That's not good for you. You're not going to be happy in that situation. ISTJs are not natural get-alongers with INFJs. And ISFPs are, well, I mean, I guess activity partners up there? No, because they're not the same quadrant. I don't know all that shit that much. I don't know. That's a lot of factors to consider. 3 people makes it 8 rather than 4. It's essentially more. 8 rather than 3, or something like that. I don't know. Permutations, immunity, yes. I'm not in a thinking mood right now. I'm in more of a wiggly woggly mood. Like, hey, I'm dancing. Oh yeah. Come get some. Yeah. Look at me, I'm dancing. Come and throw some money in my hat for my dancing back and forth. Yeah. Look at me dance. Look at me dance. I'm dancing, dancing, dance. Thanks, Rachel. I was dancing. So, I think I'm going to play a little bit of my lute. Yes, I am a lute player. And this is my lute. I hurt my finger tonight out in the wilderness. I don't even remember what I did. I just like pushed it against something for a second. I think this was I broke this right here before, so it's a little, yeah. It's a feeling called shame. When I meet you, my children, shame. Shame 1, shame the 2nd, shame 3, shame the 4th, shame 5. It's bad enough being named shame. Bad to be named shame just the same as my siblings, but it's even worse, you know, 'cause I'm shame number 4. I can feel my finger not at full strength. It's saying a little bit of me, like, hey, Eric, careful with me. Careful now. I'm not feeling myself. You come outside. You come outside. Your arms are folded. You come outside. Your arms are folded. I'm getting scolded for playing again. I wanna be as much as I can in terms of the man you want me to be. I got to do what I got to do. I'll include you in everything that I can. 'Cause I'm your man and you're my girl. I mean my woman. In the world, you are the one I will be with till my dying day. You believe. The song's too hard to sing and play. Well, actually, I needed to remember it, but it's not hard to play, but it's too hard to sing. I don't want to play it. It makes me feel like stabbing myself in the leg with a pencil. I'm not going to, though. Don't worry about it. My leg is just fine. Unstabbed forevermore, I promise. Except for as per any accidental stabbings that might occur. But I can't promise other people won't stab me in the leg with pencils. That's not my job. That's their job. Gerald had a thought. Gerald had a lot. Gerald has a plot to get to Marjorie. jeans, tater tots. He's got a good idea for a name-changing business. Thinking now about what to call Christmas. When the heart is firm to change that name. My finger hurts. I need to... I hope I didn't, like, break it or something. Fracture it or something. That sucks. Hand injuries are always something to be avoided. I guess I'll have to stop playing the guitar for right now. Let my hand get better. That's fine. I don't need to be playing the guitar right now anyway. I got better things to do, like playing the guitar. But just using a couple of fingers. Oh yeah. You don't need to use that useless middle finger no more. Middle finger usage no more. Just go to store and buy a brand new middle finger. I can just play with these fingers here, 1 and 4, then I can go down to here, 1 and 4, then I go back here to here, 1 and 4, then I wonder if I near 1 and 4. Go back here to here, 1 and 4, then I wonder if it's near 1 and 4. Go back to I hear 1 and 4, then I wonder if it's near 1 and 4. Well, some folk call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking games, and it won't do an ass good to call me names. My daddy wasn't well, it was so I wasn't born and raised in no ghetto, just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you wanna get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. It's a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma, 'cause I ain't got much to lose and lots to gain. You might call me a good time fella, 'cause I ain't no black and I ain't no yellow. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you wanna get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. Small time Billy been around a little, and I like guitar and I like the fiddle. Just as a sort of soul to fan my playing. You might call me a blue-eyed devil, and I know that white boy looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud and white and got a song to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you wanna get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. You might call me a rambling man, 'cause I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking games. I'm doing it, it's good to call me names. My daddy wasn't well, it was so I was born and raised in no ghetto. Just a white boy looking for a place to do my thing. You might call me a good time fella. I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman in a line of work, don't take no diploma, 'cause I ain't got much to to adjust to not playing with my middle finger. It makes me like mess everything up a little bit. It's weird. You should be able to get everything but just to not play your middle finger, but it's a little more challenging than that. It's a little more challenging. Like a buttercup with the dollop of avocado. It's a little more challenging to eat. Like a butterscotch candy on top of a salmon. It's a little bit more difficult to eat. But if you love butterscotch salmon, then you'll surely disagree, because butterscotch salmon is the example for me, and I think it sounds pretty awful. But if you like a butterscotch salmon, go ahead and eat it for dinner tonight. I call that song Butterscotch Salmon. Butterscotch my salmon on your way out the door, Johnny. It's something they used to say in the 1920s a lot to each other. And with good reason, I'm sure. I'm out of cigarettes. How sad is that? Should I go to the store? I could be just right back. But then again, could I smoke this butt here instead? Smoke and smoke and smoke and smoke. And smoke it to my head. At least help with bones. Let me help with bones. That's the kind of statement that gets a girl into trouble. You would not believe. You know that lady? She's a Deschanel. She's not Zoe Deschanel, but she's the other one. What's her name? Sister Deschanel, we'll call her. Sister Deschanel. She ended up on so many porn couches before she finally found the right bones for her audition. You know. She was like, whoa, this audition is so different than all the previous ones for this show. Why aren't you fucking me? And we're like, no, you got fooled by different imitations of that aren't even about. This show's not about that. Oh, we're sorry that happened, Miss Deschanel. She's like, I'm not. I loved it. I loved it so hard and so good that I'll be loving it for the rest of my life. Plus 3 or 4 more lives after that. Power chord is a powerful chord. So anyway, life's a funny thing. Terrible, tragic, wonderful, good. Sad, happy, mad, bad, angry, wispy, whirly. A swerving dervish of devilry and devil-may-care debaucheries, interspersed with sentiment and assorted meows. Yes, oh yes, life is a funny thing. Oh, sweet and hilarious life. So bittersweet, so sweetly sweet and bitterly bitter. So filled with varying things. You are like a parfait. Is that granola I taste? What am I talking about again? Nobody really cares. It's fine. You know, there's one thing I took away from a couple nights ago. It's fine. It's all fine. Everything's fine. That's how things always are. You know, no matter what happens, things are fine. Things just happen and things don't happen. And either one is fine. It's not all in your head, per se, but it's a lot in your head a lot of the time. Like, one decision differently from a right perspective early in the day can really cascade out. Top of the morning to you as well. Top of the morning. Which means it's the bottom of the night. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And Andre, it's all up to you. The eighth closer of the opposing ball team, known as the Vancouver Ball Players, have their ace closer up on the mound, hurling 98 mile per hour curveballs. What? I threw a curveball right there for you, didn't I? I did. That's not normally the speed at which curveballs are thrown. But that's what you're facing here, Andre. At the bottom of the night. With 2 out, bases loaded. Your team is down by exactly 4 runs. If you get a grand slam home run here, you could tie the game. Forget it. Your team's only down by 3 runs. You could win the game with one swing of your mighty, mighty bat. Crack! Spittle flies out of your mouth, Andre, as you connect bat to ball right in the sweet spot. A slight twist to the wrist. It's almost like it happens over and over again in slow motion. The spittle flying. You watch the ball blinking until the spittle falls back into your eyes, temporarily blinding you. And the first base coach's voice cuts through your reverie of, and you start running towards first base, watching it. And the outfielder leaps the ball as high as he can, with his arm outstretched to the sky. But the ball creeps over the webbing of his glove and falls to the ground on the home run side of the fence. The crowd is not ecstatic because it's not a home game for you. You're playing in Vancouver against the Ball Players. In fact, the crowd is chanting, "Oh, how sad. Our Ball Players lost. We are sad, and you're to blame. You're to blame." And they're pointing at you, Andre. Taunting you, telling you you are to blame. But in your heart of hearts, you know that everyone is America. If you want to meet Danny Glover, go ahead and meet him now. Then you can meet Mel Gibson. I will show you how. Oh, no, you did not. Oh, no, you didn't. You told them to suck it? I hear Tiffany briefly made an appearance in that game to see your lady in heroics. If I'm not mistaken, she may have had a couple of choice words for you, Andre. You probably heard it as you ran in to get away into your visiting team's locker room. Probably heard her voice say, "Yo, Doc, Andre! Just like that, Andre Vasilevsky." She likes to go around the world, tell people they stink. Yeah, she does that. She's not fond of Andres. Oh, I have a charity. It's called No More Andres, Angelos, and Stuff. Our goal is to get people to stop naming their children Andre and to name them Angelo instead. And if you have already been named misnamed by your parents Andre, we want you to get a name change to Angelo. Well, that's pretty good, Tiffany, I guess. It's not a bad pitch for your church. You sound like you've been getting into the milk. The AM for the AM. What? Almond milk in his house. If you don't love my almond milk, then what is wrong with you? You've got to love my almond milk. So anyway, I guess I'm going to wrap it up here pretty quick. 2 hours, 13 minutes, 14 seconds. I'll make some shorts, probably. I'll see what my dad's doing. He was up all night pretty much last night, up and down. He was moving around room to room. He's really not feeling well. But it's probably because he thought he was included in Andre's generalized "suck it, all of you." I guess my dad might have got caught up in that. It's enough to really take the wind out of your sails. Alright, well, been a pleasant morning chatting with everybody. And one can't wiggly waggle forever. So, I guess I'm going to stop wiggly waggling now. Goodbye. Good luck. God bless. Bless God. Goodbye. Good luck. God bless. God luck. God duck. Okay. That's the, you have a pattern be the same for both of them. All right, anyway, goodbye.